Greetings, sports entertainment enthusiasts! This is CAW Acadian champion Homeless Bob, and you are currently watching Wrestle Geeks Recaps, catching you up on AEW Dynamite, NXT, and so very much more.
Welcome everybody to Wrestle Geeks Recaps. This is New Japan Strong. I am your host, the Geek Trevor Firth, and as always, we are being joined by Tiger Driver Radio. So this week, we don't have JP with us, but I still have Juicy J.
What's up, everyone?
And the accountant, L Blue.
Yo, howdy. How's it going? Switched it up this week. I'm saying howdy. I'm saying howdy now. That's my thing.
You could
New
tell
gimmick.
you're from Texas.
New gimmick.
So, end of the tournament was great. We had a great week of, not a lot of New Japan this week, but still some good stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Before we jump into anything, though, I'm going to hit a couple plugs here, just to remind everybody that we have our Impact episodes going up every Tuesday, our AEW episodes every Wednesday, and of course, every Friday, New Japan. When Impact makes the move to Thursdays, we will be changing our schedule and having that episode out on Thursdays. So we will then have 3 consistent days of content per week. Now, let's jump into New Japan Strong. We got a couple more qualifying matches. This is March 12th. Opening promos from Bateman and Brody King.
Wait, March 19th, you mean?
Oh, yes, March 19th. I did not change. I have the right I have the right card. I just didn't change the date on my notes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not bad.
Cool. March
Thank
19th.
You, March 19th. The opening promo from Bateman and Brody King were probably the 2 best ones that we've gotten so far. Like, these promos just get better. I don't know if it's because both of these guys are just good at delivering these kind of promos.
Yeah.
Feels like they filmed them themselves, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily bad. But what did you guys think of the little opening promos?
No, I love these 2 guys, and of course their promos. So I thought it was cool. I like that whole dark aura that both of them had. So I like them. Did you like them, Blue?
Yeah. This was my. I've seen Brody King before. This was my first exposure to Bateman.
Yeah.
And yeah, they covered a little bit of the history they've had together. They definitely look like 2 guys that should be in the same stable or team.
Yeah.
Like their styles are just very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think it was a good intro and kind of set up for the main event. I like that they're doing these promos and giving them like a shot to just be themselves and get a little bit better on the mic, because that's just as important.
Yeah, because Kevin Kelly did say that they were a tag team before, and I did not know that in the past. He said that during the match, so I thought that was cool.
I didn't know that either. But I will say, just looking at the 6 qualifying matches we get so far,
yeah,
and even with the 2 from next week, like or from tonight's episode, these are going to be this Bateman and Brody King was the hardest one to call.
Yeah.
But opening match, we get a special singles match between Jeff Cobb and Alex Coughlin. Coughlin, that's how they pronounce it. Sorry.
Coughlin, yeah.
Yeah. I found that out this past week. I've been saying it right. I always said Coughlin. I'm like, oh, it's Coughlin.
When you read it, right?
Yeah.
So this match only went a little over 5 minutes. There was nothing too spectacular. I did find that Coughlin was able to look strong overall, despite the fact that he was in there with a like Cobb's a ring general, and he's absolutely a veteran at this point. He has that power and presence in the ring, and this was just a great learning experience for Coughlin, in my opinion. He does he does use the Tour of the Isles, of course, to put Coughlin down and win. But overall, yeah, it's a good, quick little opener match.
Yeah, I don't know. It was too quick for my taste. The 5 minutes was too fast. Coughlin, he is a great wrestler. He is doing great with his with being in developmental in New Japan. But as far as Jeff Cobb, it seemed like he was just working at half speed. And
Yeah.
like I said last week with United Empire, they're not doing too great. I mean, this is good that he got the win, but Jeff Cobb is not giving us his full potential. I mean, it's understandable because maybe, of course, they had this from the booking. There was already going to be decided that was 5 minutes, so maybe that's why. But still, I would like for Jeff Cobb to give us more than he does, so they can make United Empire that strong stable that they can be. So that was just a little weird and for my taste, but you're right. It was okay.
I will say from experience of being backstage, when you put a really veteran guy with the guy who he's not green, but
yeah,
has a way less experience, sometimes
uh-huh.
that half speed thing from the veteran happens.
Yeah.
You've definitely seen it before in other matches from other companies as well, I'm sure. But Blue?
Yeah, I think the only thing, because wasn't the story like a week ago that Coughlin just came back from injury?
Yeah, because of his neck, yeah.
It was him, right? So I think the only thing that bugged me about this match was that, he's coming back from injury, and then like his second match, he's just like fed to Jeff Cobb, which I mean, there's no shame in losing to Cobb. I mean, he's a beast, but it's just like any momentum that Alex might have built up from like, oh, he's coming back, people are excited to see him, just got flattened by Cobb in 5 minutes and 58 seconds.
Yes.
That's the only thing. The booking of it to me is a little odd.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I just wonder why they did that. I know. I mean, they have the hour of the show. I don't know. They could do it a little bit different to prolong the match a little bit to give him a little bit more showcase everything they have. But so I don't know.
I think to me it was just like him losing so quickly after he just came back. It's like, oh well, you know, so much for building up a winning streak or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's gonna lead up to something in the future. But I think this was just a match for the sake of having an opening match. It was a good match. It was exciting, and I think the right guy. There's no reason Jeff Cobb should be losing to almost anybody in Strong, because he's a guy from the main roster. It's just like the timing of it is a little odd, but again, Strong is just kind of a show that's starting off, so maybe they didn't have much to work with. That's the only problem. But overall, I like the match. Both guys are great. They look great.
And I just hope with Alex Coughlin, maybe hopefully when he's done with being a young lion, that they change his name or something. You call him AC or something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
I will admit AC's a little tricky because like we've already seen some, like there was a wrestler called AC who is now AC Romero in Impact.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they had Ace Austin as well.
Yeah.
So
AC
they're like,
baby.
oh, yeah, exactly, right. So they're like, well, Ace Austin and AC, let's call you AC Romero because it's just easier to differentiate you two on commentary. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't mind his name, but yeah, I think definitely. I mean, hopefully they find something, give him a nickname or something that it just, I don't know. It's hard to tell when they're coming from the young lion status up, because it's like, okay, where does the gimmick begin?
Yeah.
And New Japan is interesting with gimmicks. Some of these newer, like Okan and Master Wato, I'm like, I've been really disappointed with those gimmicks. It's like, if you're calling yourself Master anything, I'm already gonna have too high of expectations from you. Like that just send the bar a little bit too high. And then Okan is just, I think he's a little bit more fleshed out, but again, it's just kind of weird gimmicks that they've been doing.
I think I'm going to call myself Master Juicy from here on.
Master
Juicy. I love it.
Instead of Juicy J. Nah, kidding. What was the next match, Trevor?
The next match is a qualifying match for the tournament. It is Mysterioso versus Ren Narita. And we got a little message from Mysterioso before the match. Or a little interview, really, with Kevin Kelly, which is cool. That's a little different. Tried something new. I think they could have integrated it a little bit better. but it's a good first attempt. And it was just really Mysterioso saying how much it means that he's going up against like Ren Narita, who's the golden boy, right? The chosen one is kind of how he was referring to him. But the actual match itself, I really, really, really liked this match. They were comparing Ren Narita to, my God, they were comparing him to, the names are slipping my mind right now. Commentary compared him to Tanahashi at some point, I believe. Or no, Nakamura. Alex compared him to Nakamura at some point, and I don't remember who Kevin Kelly compared him to. But honestly, watching this match for me, I was getting so many Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit vibes. It's ridiculous. It was crazy, man. Like I was just sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
It was definitely a great match.
Yeah. To me, neither of them really hit moves that really felt traditionally either of those wrestlers. It's just I got that same spirit and energy that those two had when facing each other. So it was a great back and forth between like Ren being extremely technical and Mysterioso being the more high-flying guy. It was a pretty classic match when it comes to the style of booking too, with Ren just trying to wrestle him down to the mat and keep him grounded. And eventually he does make him tap out.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if it's a sharpshooter or if it's one of the variations, or I'm not sure exactly what he's calling it. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, the Narita special number 3.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I know he had a name for it.
I think if you have numbered finishers, I mark out for that. I like that.
when they have the number, it reminds me of that old school. I'm not sure if you guys played it, but that SmackDown video games where you pick your moves, and there was like power bomb number 1, and there was a power bomb 2, 3. Like you pick as finishers.
They're all slight variations.
Yeah,
I love it. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. But a cool. I think it's a cool submission for him though. I think it works out. Like you said, the Chris Benoit feel. Because he gives it so much energy when he does it. You're like, oh man, that guy's gonna die. He's gonna break in half.
The bridge when he popped himself up, like pretty much by his neck only.
Yeah,
is what it looked like. I'm like, oh, that like right there. I was like, that's Benoit. That's my moment. I'm like, yep, that's cemented. That's like Benoit for me.
I'm looking at the picture of it right now.
I
forgot that happened.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that bridge. They always highlight it when he does it. Highlight it so much. Because it is a great bridge, and like it's crazy how good it is though. Like I know wrestler would appreciate it even more so than we do. You do booking, Trevor, so you probably appreciate it as much. But man, it's so crazy how it looks.
It's insane. Japan does the scariest neck stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ren Narita's going forward. I don't know how else to verbulate anything else I have to say positive about this match at this point.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that spot where Mysterioso does a backflip, but he hits the ring instead of Narita?
Oh, that was scary.
Yeah, that was. I was like, did he do that intentionally so he wouldn't really fall on him because he's heavier, or it's just a mistake?
He totally messed it up. He just didn't go far enough. I've seen him do the move before. And he really does just clear the third rope and go out normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he clipped the third rope is what it looked like when he went over. So he almost hit the apron like dead on.
Yeah.
Narita saved him basically from what I could see.
Yeah, because he kind of stretched out his arm to kind of catch him a little bit. And I think it helped. Yeah.
Anytime you see anything like that, your natural reaction as a wrestler should be to run towards the other guy.
Yeah.
Just run full tilt and just whatever it takes to catch him.
Mm-hmm. And not just like move out of the way.
Oh God. No, let's just say that around here, if you'd move out of the way from a spot like that, the backlash you'd get would be pretty nasty.
Yeah. You wouldn't wrestle again, maybe.
This is a possibility.
It's crazy.
You put someone else's life in danger. It's the way it's seen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Great match. Absolutely incredible. And I'm excited to see what Ren Narita does next. I want to see how far he goes in this tournament. I don't think he's going to win it, but I want to see how far he goes. Because the way Kevin Kelly was talking there.
Yeah.
Laying it on kind of thick.
Yeah, because he's definitely going to go up against a winner of the next match we're going to talk about.
I think so.
That's going to be, whoever he has to face, Brody King and Bateman. We're just going to talk about that now, but whoever he has to face, either of those two, before we saw that match, either one is going to be intense for him.
Yeah.
Either Brody King or Bateman, but.
Yeah. So the last match of the night is the qualifying match between Bateman and Brody King.
Yeah. And
all I can really say about this match is that this is a hard-hitting, ugly, brutal match.
Mm-hmm.
And ugly in the best of terms.
Yeah.
they were being
ugly the way JR does.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was brutal. It was just like the chops and this, like everything they did to each other just looked really painful, really stiff. I loved it.
Did you expect that? Did you think it was going to be like that, or I thought it was going to be a squash match. I thought Brody King was just going to demolish Bateman, but it wasn't. It surprised me, like you said, that was very hard hitting, like back and forth.
Bateman's really unorthodox.
Yeah.
So I figured it was going to be a decent, it's the main event for a reason, right? So I figured it was going to be a good match. But man, the fact that Bateman, Brody King says it at the end. If anybody knows me better than Bateman, then nobody knows him in the ring better than Bateman at this point, is what he was getting at. And we saw a lot of great reversals in this match too. We saw a lot of great little counters. So I had a feeling it was going to be a good one, but I just didn't think it was going to be this good either. I thought it was just going to be two big guys smacking each other around a little bit, but I was like, oh man, the ferocity is great.
But see, Bateman, like you said, he's an orthodox, and it kind of, to me, it felt like a little guy versus big guy match, because the way he was kind of like squirming around, like getting away from Brody King, and then he just hits him. Like it was cool.
Yeah. It showed that he studied him. He knows his opponent.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
I don't got much. I feel like there was certain spots where I thought these guys were just like legitimately pissed at each other. That's how hard they were hitting. I was like, oh my god, that sounded loud. I'm just like watching the show. I was like, he just like, I think there was a spot where they do the whole, one of the wrestlers stands behind the other one, and he does like the back elbow. He doesn't hit him with the elbow. Oh, yeah. And it just like boom, like really loud. I'm like, oh god, that's like so straight right there. There was definitely hard hitting, and that, like we said last week, we had the issue with matches being too similar in the finishes and in the style. This week, we kind of got a treat with Narita and Mysterioso, and then this one we had like the hard hitting kind of never open weight style of match versus like a kind of a technical like cruiserweight kind of match you would get in the junior division. So it was a nice mix, definitely.
Yeah, definitely a nice mix. And speaking of mixes, the Regal Twins were out there again supporting Brody King.
That's true. I like where this is going. I like the idea of them all being of it a faction. I just want Brody to address it. Hopefully he does that at the beginning of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm going to say it now. I think Brody King's going to get into the finals, and I think the Twins or ACH are going to be part of the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's going to win it, because I'm not sure who the last two contenders are going to be, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna. I'm pretty sure he's going to the finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brody does win the Gato bomb. Forgot to bring up the ending. But yeah, great little tournament. We have Narita and we have Brody going in. I find it weird to do qualifiers for a straight up elimination tournament. I'll be honest. I'm like, why don't you just call it a 16-man tournament instead of an 8-man tournament? Whatever.
Right.
Whatever. Personal choice, I guess.
Make it dramatic, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. But next week we're getting Blake Christian versus Chris Dickinson, which Dickinson's winning because Blake Christian is signed to WWE, if I'm not mistaken. So this is probably his last match that we're going to see him in. We might see him in a couple of like little opening matches on some of the TV tapings, but I don't see him moving forward in the tournament. Plus, if somehow Narita does win and Dickinson moves forward, you have Narita and Dickinson 2 that you could potentially have somewhere in that tournament. And if Dickinson wins there, then you have a reason to have them come back against each other in a little bit to do a little offer match. That could be interesting. I'd like to see that, I think.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, yeah, Chris Dickinson's probably winning that one. Next one, Clark Connors and TJP. That one, I'm like, I feel like it's just going to be TJP because it's TJP, but at the same time.
Well, how busy is he in Impact?
He dropped the title to he dropped the X Division title to Ace Austin. So, and he just lost his rematch for it. So presumably he's at the bottom of the list for that. Yeah. So I'd say he's good to go. I know he was doing some stuff in MLW as well.
Yeah, he has like I watch MLW every week. He has like this train. So he's like the master and the student, and he like betrayed his student after like 2 episodes. And they've got this whole controversy going on. Buku Dao is the wrestler. So they have this whole thing going on. It's interesting. It's developing each week. Each week I feel like they're supposed to have a match, and it's like, oh, Buku Dao got attacked or something. I don't know why they do that. Maybe it's like conflicts and schedules or something. It just, TJP's all over the place with MLW, Impact, and then this. I mean, I like TJP. I just kind of prefer if New Japan's gonna stick with their guys to put Connor over. But I mean, we'll see what comes out of the match. It's kind of hard to call. I think if you're gonna put name recognition, then TJP's definitely the guy to go with.
I want Clark Connor's fluffy hair to win. Looks funny. It looks Ric Flair. What's that?
I just want a young line to move forward. I will admit, having one would be good. Like, because Narita doesn't really count. He's on excursion. So like, this is technically him getting his gimmick and figuring himself out, right? So I think that's what's the coolest thing about the young lion system for me. We were saying it earlier. It's the fact that they send people out on an excursion, so we see them as young lions, and then when they come back, we see them as this whole new person. That's the idea anyway. And I will say Great Okan has not worked for me.
Is Mysterioso on excursion from Mexico to Strong? That's what, because is he a CMLL guy? Or is he just like a...
I think it's just indie, isn't it?
I think he's just an indie guy.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because I was like... Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool if they were sending luchadors over here too, because then you'd get to see like, you know how we used to see like Titan and what's it called? Dragon Lee. It'd be super cool if they incorporated that into Strong. But
well, I think it's that whole thing that we talked about last week. That I mean, it seems like they want to phase out Ring of Honor, but at the same time, they're really not, because of course they still have Bateman and Brody King.
Yeah,
but it's a weird situation. I'll talk to you guys about later about something else that I saw today about CMLL. We'll talk about that later.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. The Cup semifinals transitioning to New Japan proper. We had the Cup semifinals and the Cup finals. And first semifinal match was Evil versus Shingo Takagi. And do you want to take it away on this one, Jay?
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, we did have Evil versus Shingo. Did I say just Eagle? That's funny. But we just had Evil versus Shingo Takagi, and then we also had Dave Finley versus Osprey. So the first, let's go ahead and talk about Dave Finley versus Osprey. You want to talk about that one first, Trevor? Cool. Yep. So on that one to me was a little more emotional in a way than the final match, the Cup, which we're going to talk about after we talk about these two matches. But the reason it was more emotional for me was because, of course, Finley, you have that Cinderella story of him coming back, and he hopefully gets to the final, and then towards the end of the match, he jumps out of the ring and somehow injures his ankle. And to me, that got me. I mean, they worked me, and I was watching it intently, like, oh man, hopefully Finley wins. I pulled to the edge of my seat, and I just kept watching, like, oh man, it was gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Please win, please win. And of course, I mean, I love Osprey, so and for me to root for Finley instead of Osprey, that's saying something. But definitely Finley, I wanted him to win, and at the end when he lost, like I said, I got a little emotional. It was like, oh man, this sucks. Like Osprey should have let him win. Why not? But of course, we know what's going to happen next with Osprey, that we're going to talk about later in a bit. But yeah, like I said, it was a little, it was emotional for me. What you think about this one, Blue?
Yeah, for this one, I agree. Like going into it, it's kind of a gimme for Osprey.
Yeah.
As bad as that may seem, one of the things that kind of how you said, right? One of the things you like to see in this match is like you gain sympathy for Finley, for David.
Yeah.
You kind of one of the things we want to highlight is like the frustration that he has throughout the match, getting injured.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's going up against a guy he's outclassed the entire time. It's like when you watch like soccer on TV and you're, in my case, we always root for Mexico, who tends to get outclassed in the World Cup. It's one of those stories where it's like it's just such a better world-class talent against him, and it's that's a good story to have. I would have never imagined that he would have made it this far. He got past Jay White, which is like wow. So it was definitely a Cinderella story, and I think it had its place in this tournament. It definitely belonged. What this means for Finley in the future, I don't know. It's going to be tough, kind of seeing what's next for him.
Yeah, good thing he has the tag titles in Impact. Because if it wasn't for that, then I probably would have felt worse for him. But again, him losing to Osprey, that was pretty sad for me. But definitely Osprey wins a 21-minute match. He wins with a Stormbreaker. And speaking of the Osprey's finishers, of course he from what Kevin Kelly was saying during this match, he was saying, oh, he's not doing the hidden blade as much, and he's doing the Chelsea grin, which is the opposite of the hidden blade. Instead of hitting him in the back of the head, he kind of hits him in the face.
Okay.
Which is both lethal moves, I think. But Osprey definitely has cool moves. The Stormbreaker, for me, is maybe the least cool of the moves he has. I don't know if you like it, Trevor.
I find it terrifying.
Yeah, the Stormbreaker.
I find it terrifying. I'll be honest. I don't understand how he convinces people to take that move.
Yeah,
because
like I have no in-ring experience. I am not trained. I just do storylines and bookings. But I mean, I do not understand how he convinces people to take that move.
I've seen it. I've seen him do it on like guys like Shingo, way bigger than him, where it's like, and it seems like a complicated setup because when he's holding you up there, he kind of has you in this. I want to call it like a straitjacket hold, where your arms are like held to your opposite side, right, and then he just spins you and like you fall on the floor. It's just a weird setup where I feel like he just drop you on your ass.
There's so much twirling that it terrifies me.
Because and the reason I say it's the least impactful of the finishers he has is because it's just him twirling somebody. But yeah, like you said, it's scary because of person taking it. But as far as it just seems like a flippy thing. You're like flipping somebody and that's it. But as far as like hitting somebody and them being knocked out from it, of course, the other ones I think like his Oz Cutter and the Hidden Blade and the Chelsea Green now, I think are more lethal. But speaking of lethal, the next match was Shingo Takagi versus Evil.
Yeah.
And so what'd you think about this match, Trevor?
I was unexpected for me because I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. I like Shingo. a lot.
Yeah.
Shingo's really fun to watch. I've never really been bored or just uninterested in anything he's done that I've seen so far. But Evil, on the other hand, even after like transitioning to Bullet Club Evil, there have been moments where I've just been like, I could do without this.
Yeah.
And then knowing Evil was going to get so far into the tournament made me feel a little meh, but I understood why. It made sense. It's good booking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just not big on Evil overall. But the match itself was fun. I enjoyed it, despite that.
Definitely.
Sorry. There's just certain wrestlers that I have a hard time being interested in when I'm watching them.
Yeah.
Like Moose was like that for a long time for me in Impact Wrestling. But it was a good hard-hitting match from Shingo side especially. Shingo has a great set of offense, very varied. He can do a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the match didn't really stand out for me that much. I will say that I definitely think that the David Finley and Will Osprey match like stood out a lot more for me coming out of this show, as well as the earthquake kind of distracted me a bit.
All right.
It was kind of just like just knowing that there was an earthquake because I was actually watching it live.
Yeah.
Right, so I was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" I was freaking out for a second. It was really weird. But no, sorry, I don't have much to say about this match for me. It just didn't really stand out in my mind.
No, I think I agree with you. And the reason I asked you to talk about it first is because maybe somebody unbiased person would need to speak about it. Because me, as you guys know, I hate Evil.
I know you do.
I don't really like him. And I think this match, I think I'm becoming like a Japanese fan. And I hate the Dig Togo just trying to get involved in the match.
Agreed.
It's just, to me, it takes away a lot. Is it me or like I said, am I becoming a New Japan fan?
Togo. He's okay, but I don't like in a tournament. No, I don't like the idea of having managers during tournaments and stuff. It bugs me.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of shenanigans, and if they were the only ones that did it, that would have been one thing. But I think Jay White and a lot of the Bullet Club guys still do it.
Yeah,
and it's just like that's what makes it, because Jay has Ghetto, and then Taiji has Jado, or he has somebody else that like runs around with him, or he has his tag team partner, and then this guy has Dick Togo. So it's like every Bullet Club has somebody that just like come in and cause shenanigans during the matches. And if they were unique, right, like a Muda Mist or something, but no, they just come in and like low blow and chair shot people. So it gets, I could see like why that gets repetitive, especially if they do it every match. It's like, wow.
Yeah, so you know what's gonna happen. So you're like, oh well, they're probably gonna do that, and they're gonna get involved, and the ref's gonna be knocked out, and then, oh no, then he's gonna probably lose after that because they're gonna hit him with a chair or something. So maybe that's why I hate it, because you know, the what's gonna happen next, the transition into, oh, this is gonna happen at the end, but yeah, it was okay match. Again, like Trevor said, the Finlay versus Osprey match was better, but. Anything else you wanted to add, Blue, on this match?
No, I think this match was good for Shingo because it's just Evil was the guy that kind of turned his back on the faction. So I think it was a good story for Shingo, like in the tournament, where it's like, all the guys he ran through were not just like, lower to mid card guys. They were, they were like the Okadas, the Evils.
It started with Okada.
It started with Okada, yeah. It's like just getting out of
it.
Exactly. One thing I wanted to add for the earthquake thing, there was I was surfing the web and I saw a bunch of pictures. Apparently Jay White, while they were on that 20-minute break, just picks up the IC, the World, and the Never Open Weight belt.
Yes.
He starts posing with them.
Yes. When they were getting ready to restart the match, he was trying to walk into the ring with all of them in his hands. He's just constantly dropping them, doing his best. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. It was interesting to see. You've never seen something like that in wrestling.
No.
I know Tanahashi, being Tanahashi, he was also like posing for pictures. He's like, "Hey, don't worry, you take a picture of my abs," and I'm like, "Oh, Tana, you're the best."
Yeah, you had Okada, Ibushi, and Tanahashi all standing together, posing doing power poses in the ring. Hell yeah! Hell yeah, the crowd's gonna forget there's an earthquake.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. It was if it was good, if it was somebody else in that match, probably people would have gone crazy. The fans.
I think it's the fact that they had especially those three people
Yeah,
in the ring, like they had the most comforting faces possible.
yeah. Like relax, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, Shingo won. 22-minute match. Shingo won, and definitely went for the final against Osprey. What were you gonna say, Trevor?
Yeah. No, that's all I was gonna say. Actually, was transition over.
Oh,
But
okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, definitely. So we had like I said, this match Osprey versus Shingo in the final on the 21st of March. We had a 30-minute match. A awesome match. I think Trevor, you said it was a match of the year. I think you might call it.
it's my New Japan match of the year.
Yeah,
That's guaranteed. I don't know if it's my
yeah,
match of the year right now. But it's my New Japan one.
yeah.
That Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa match was really brutal. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I will say this. Between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, this match and at Impact Sacrifice having the Rich Swann and Moose match, like, god damn, this is a great week of wrestling.
Oh, that's true. That was this weekend ttoo. Yeah.
That was an amazing week of wrestling. I loved this week. But go for it.
No, I agree with you. It was an awesome match, especially with you had Ibushi out there ringside, and Shingo like throughout the match, kind of getting powers from him. It seemed like he said something to him like, "Hey, you have to keep going. You have to keep trying to win." And Shingo went back in the ring, and it was like I said, give him energies, and continued throughout the match against Osprey. But definitely brutal match. There was even a table spot. Which again, like we had talked about previous weeks, Red Shoes is like, yeah, go ahead and use the table. That's fine.
I mean, this is the finals, though.
Yeah,
Fair.
yeah,
In the finals, I just feel like, screw it, do what you want.
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen a Japanese table break so well like this Japanese table.
Yeah.
Usually they just like take a beating. Sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
No, I was like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, right? Did they learn how to gimmick tables all of a sudden?
I've never seen one break just as finally as this one did. It's like, oh, it's perfect. Just hits the 450. That was brutal too. It's like, just took it right there.
Yeah. And then speaking of moves, Blue, last week you said you like when they say the pumping bomber. And I thought it was crazy that in this match, the Shingo did the pumping bomber, but then like Osprey just spun and then just stood back up and then went into an Os cutter.
Oh yeah, no, what
Yeah.
didn't he reverse it into a Spanish fly?
Was it a Spanish fly or a Os cutter? I can't remember. But I thought that was cool though. Like he just took it like nothing happened. Like he just flipped, got back, and then just went into the ropes.
I'm hit or miss on those spots. Usually I don't like those kind of spots, I'll be honest. No. You need to sell the pain of the move you just took right after.
Yeah.
So I think it was the Spanish fly.
Was it?
I think.
Yeah, I think
I'm trying to remember. I remembered he went into the ropes, he hit the ropes and then came back. And then of course I can't remember what happened. That's why I think I was picturing an Os cutter. But the reason for me was impactful. You're right. I mean, if it's one of his signature moves, you wouldn't want to do that because you're taking away from the move. But to me, it was cool because it shows like Osprey, like, oh man, I mean, I'm in that level or greater than you, and that's why I thought it was cool.
Well, we had like shooting to Dynamite. We had Cody and Pentagon.
Yeah.
Where Pentagon did the arm break spot, and Cody basically no-sold it to just turn around and roll him up for the win.
Right.
And it left a really sour taste in my mouth.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's really easy to mess these spots up for me.
Yeah.
You got to be really careful. And Osprey sold, if it was the Spanish fly and not the cutter, I specifically remember Osprey actually going down in exhaustion at least after it. So if you sell it in some way after you do your reversal, I'm cool with it. But usually, that's a key component.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tricky spot. But I love this match. Like, I think if you watch a lot of New Japan, you do definitely get what's the proper term for it? Like you do get tired of the long drawn out matches that it's the New Japan style that they have, especially during these tournaments. But this one, went 30 minutes, and I felt like it wasn't any more longer or shorter than like the rest of the matches. Like it was a good enough match where time kind of like shrunk for me, where it's like, oh wow, like that was 30 minutes. It didn't feel like 30 minutes. It felt like
Totally get
50,
what you meant. Totally get what you mean by that.
minutes.
Yeah.
It's these two guys just have it together, and and I love it. And I think, and I know going into this week, I was like, well, I think Osprey is just kind of makes sense that he's gonna win, but that spot where he's like on the sidelines, or trying to recover, and Kota's like, you can do it. It's like, wait, like, is this setting something else up? Sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
No, I was agreeing with you on that. How cool that was, yeah. But I will say, B. Priestley being at ringside for this match. B. Priestley being at ringside, period. Like, how we don't get a lot of women at ringside in Japan. And let alone like a wrestler of her caliber, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, do you want to go over the spots that she was involved in? Because there was something that I found very funny.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He at some point, I don't remember exactly what the move was, but like Osprey just throws Priestley right into Shingo.
Yeah.
It feeds her to him to take a move, and I laugh so hard.
Yeah. Because the stuff she does, even did you guys see what happened at the very end after Osprey did his spiel?
Yep.
Yeah.
What he did to Bia?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
100%. 100%. The type of relationship they have, and like how they are on camera together, based on what I've seen them in the UK. Yeah. Like, they've wrestled each other as well. That's very much just like, she's just gonna be like, you prick. That's all it's gonna be. She's just gonna be like, you prick, and then she's gonna hit him and done.
I like that. I did not see that coming, where Osprey's cutting the promo on Kota, and he's like, you know how much this means to me? Like, yeah, I just won the tournament, but that's just a stepping stone to what I really want. And I'm going to show you how much I want it. And he just Oscutters poor B. Priestley into next week.
Yeah, because he wanted to show that, I mean, even though she loves her and blah, 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 like the championship means a lot more to me than her. And then that's why he gives her the cutter. But still, I mean, for the Japanese, I mean, to us, I think we know their background. But the Japanese fans, I don't know if they know it as much as we do. And maybe it's surprising to them, like really surprising. Oh, man, he did that to his wife. Now, I mean, I think they live in Japan now, no? Or they have another house there. And so I think to them it's like, oh, man, you have family with her and everything. And you give her the cutter. Which is intense.
She's a big enough name in Stardom that I'm pretty sure that a decent chunk of New Japan fans would be aware who she is, even without, like, well, not necessarily without Osprey, but without being told. You know what I mean?
No, I guess I meant the history as far as what you said earlier, that they had matches before. I don't know if they know as much.
Probably not.
Yeah. Because if they don't, maybe I would see how they would be surprised that he gave her this cutter and like he didn't care and just. I mean, the championship means more to me, which brings up a good point that they're already calling it the IWGP World Heavyweight. Like they're already doing that. It seems they're. It seems like they like for sure gonna get rid of that Intercontinental.
Yep. Well, they said it. They're introducing a new belt on April 4th.
Yeah. Yep. And which brings up the next part we were gonna talk about that.
Well,
for
I had
April
one last
4th.
thing I wanted to say about that night.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the Japanese crowd's reaction to when Finjuice came out to their Impact music. Was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Japanese fans seem to be legitimately like surprised, and I did really like I was disappointed it wasn't a straight up just tag match.
Yeah.
That it was a trios match. I would like to have seen Finjuice just even if it's a non-title match. I would like to have seen them in a tag match, not a trios match. But the Impact belt, it's pretty cool. But Finley selling the injuries from the Osprey match like a freaking pro, man. Like, oh my god, that is a lost art. is such a lost art to sell that well. To sell like the effects of your last match that well. Like, oh, incredible. That's the last thing I want to say about this night.
That's true. That's something you don't
impact.
That's something you don't see very often too, or like especially during these tournaments, it's like you don't see the damage from the last match. It's like,
I mean, it's something that us American fans are like just not conditioned to see anymore. Period. Because even like, man, we saw a Revolution Darby Allin take like a 3-story drop and come out next week just like and wrestle a match. Yeah, not even selling no limp, no selling and injuries whatsoever. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, we saw AJ Styles get buried alive and then just return with nothing. Hey guys, what's
Ray's
up?
eye, like, come on.
Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans going up. Oh man.
Yeah, but as Trevor said earlier, on April 4th, we already had a press conference, New Japan press conference the other day, and they did announce on April 4th that there's going to be. They already announced 2 of the matches. One of the matches is going to be Sho and Yo. So we have Yo coming back, and they're going to face Kanemaru and Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. So that's going to be awesome. Definitely cool to see Yo back, to see Sho in a good match, because Sho is awesome to me. I think he's going to be replacing Ibushi in the late future, because I think he's that good. So again, it's cool to see Yo back, and then we're gonna get Ibushi versus Osprey for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be awesome. Definitely something to look out for. Do you guys have anything to say on these 2 matches?
Well, I'm just curious to know. Like, I just can't wait to find out if Ibushi's gonna walk in with both belts and then leave with the new belt, or if he's, if the winner's getting the new belt, going to be the first of the new type thing, so, or if she's going to walk in with the new one.
So I'm looking at the website for New Japan right now, and they're considering it the first defense of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Okay. So I think we are going to see, because this isn't his first defense of those belts. It's like his 3rd one. So it's so I think there will be some sort of man. That's then if I don't think Kota can lose, because it would suck if he just lost the belt on the first day.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. That puts him in a precarious situation with that.
And it's gonna be a lot too. Like forever who wins the belt. Because remember in New Japan, you know how they do the video at for the IWGP Heavyweight, that they put the video of all the champions, and like if you're the first one, of course that's a big deal, because you're gonna be the first one on there. If they ever, like in the future, like in 10 years from now, it's like all the champions and you're the first one on the screen. So it's I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen with Ibushi. I want Osprey to win, because I mean he's one of my favorites. I think Trevor, he's one of your favorites too. So I don't know what way you're leaning.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites out of New Japan. I know he's like one of my wife's favorites of all time. So there's but no, I don't think it's right for Osprey to win yet. Despite like, I feel like if he doesn't win, then he just looks so like they need to find a way to make him look really strong in defeat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But I did want to tell you guys, the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before that, Suzuki had a signing. Did you guys see that on YouTube? I'm not sure you guys got to catch it, but he was just talking to fans, answering their questions, and signing their shirts or towels. And
thumbnail of it, but I did not click on it.
Yeah, he did a live thing, and he was signing, and Chris from New Japan Commentary was there translating. And again, people were just asking him questions. But if you like Suzuki, it's cool to watch that, kind of to see the other side of Suzuki. If for us, since we're not in Japan, maybe we don't get that much. I know, Blue, when you went to Japan, I think you went to, what did you go to? His restaurant? I think you saw him.
He has a store in Harajuku called Pile Driver.
Yeah.
And he sells kind of clothes. The first time I went there, it was if you ever go to Japan for Tokyo Dome, know that the first 3 days of the new year, everything is closed. Nothing's gonna be up. Like so you kind of get burned on that if you go, because it's a holiday for them. It's more important than Christmas. It's more important than anything else. The first 3 days of the year. But on the fourth day, I think it was right before the Tokyo Dome show. I got to go to a store, and I have him on Instagram, and he's like, oh, he's there. Went to Harajuku, went to Pile Drive. I knew where it was already. And yeah, I got there. He was standing outside, and I was just like, just like, hey, I do like the dad nod. Like, hey, do you guys know what the dad nod is? Where it's like you just see someone, and you're just like, yeah.
I do that all the time. I do that all the time.
I didn't know what to say, because I was like, okay, let me go buy something, and then I'll try to talk to him. And I got one of his shirts. It was a really cool shirt. It says Kaze ni Nare, which is like his song.
Oh, yes.
I love the shirt. I need to find it. It's one of those shirts that it's like, I love that shirt. Where is that shirt? It's like, I have it somewhere. I probably it's just mixed up with the rest of my clothes. So yeah, so I had the honor to meet him there. There's actually a bunch of indie wrestlers that work at his store. I wish I was more proficient in Japanese, because they're not New Japan guys. They're definitely not New Japan. They're maybe DDT guys, so I had probably seen some of those guys in matches that same week. I don't know a lot of indie Japanese wrestlers, but I could tell because they have the cauliflower ear. So either they were that, or they were just straight up fighters. I'm like, damn, But yeah, then I got to talk to him afterwards. He's like, oh, where are you from? He's like, oh, Texas, and can't wait to see you in the show. Good luck. And I wanted to tell him I can't wait to say the Kazanina Re. And first night comes around, and he comes into Zack Saber's music, which is the most disappointing thing ever. And then, but night 2, it was salvaged, because I don't know if you guys remember, Moxley defended the U.S. belt a second night in a row, and he came out to his music, and I'm like, yes, check that off the list.
They're not going to deny the fans that at Wrestle Kingdom. No way.
Oh, yeah, that was freaking awesome. I was just like waiting, all excited. Yeah, it was pre-pandemic time, just shortly before that. So I'm lucky I got to do all that. And yeah, he's a real cool guy. I mean, I was definitely intimidated. I wish I would have been a little bit like when I got there, it's like, oh, it's like shook his hand and stuff. Yeah. I got to do that at the end, but I don't know. I was so nervous at first. I just kind of went straight into the store, bought something, and I'm like, hey, can I take a picture? And I have a picture on him on my Instagram. I'll send it over to you, Trevor. I think you haven't seen it,
awesome.
But yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but he's definitely a cool guy, and you mentioned his Instagram. A lot of people during the YouTube live show, they were asking him about his socks. I don't know about that, but something that he posts socks on there, and they were asking him that which one his favorite one. I don't know if you know about that, Blue, but definitely check it out if you get a chance. It's just a quick thing, or if you want to go or look at it real fast, maybe skim through it. Yeah. The very last thing I was going to tell you about, guys, that I was talking to you about earlier, as far as Ring of Honor and CMLL and New Japan, kind of the relationship. Well, it seems like it got announced, I think yesterday, that CMLL is going to make a new Ingobernables faction called Los Nuevos Ingobernables, and so it seems like they're straying away, or trying to phase out Ring of Honor completely, because they're making this new Ingobernables faction, which is interesting. I don't know I don't think they're going to work with the Ring of Honor Ingobernables. So it's interesting to me. I wonder what's going to happen with the Ring of Honor in the future, and the New Japan and CMLL relationship. But
to me, the most interesting tidbit about that, I just got to throw it in, is the fact that, Andrade La Sombra is no longer with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he's got no 90, there's no 90-day no compete for him.
Yeah.
He can show up anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
Literally. So is he going to go to Ring of Honor to be with Rush and Dragon Lee? Is he a part of this whole Nuevo Los Ingobernables? Is he, oh man. That's for me, the Andrade part is the part that makes me go, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm staring at Mexico very intensely for one of the first times. So
Yeah.
That'd be exciting. I'm sure he'd
this
get
is
paid just to show up.
This could be what it takes to really get me into a Mexican promotion. You never know.
Or what if he goes to AEW and makes an Ingobernables faction there? Would that be interesting or not as much?
I've
Not
always
as much for me.
Not as much.
wanted to see like a Ingobernables USA stable, but it's kind of hard because to me, what makes that faction special, it's like it's not a big faction. It's usually 4 or 5 guys. Even when it was in Mexico, it was just, I think it was Rush, Sombra, Naito, and I think the last guy was like Mascara. I don't know the last guy too much.
Wasn't Dragon Lee a part of it at some point?
I don't think he ever was. I think until they left, he was like a face and his brother was a heel.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then in Ring of Honor, they just got together because everybody knows they're brothers.
Yeah.
But it's always kind of been like an elite group of guys, like 4 or 5, never kind of overstepping their boundaries with numbers or anything. It's just like, yeah, we're just a group of, we don't care what anybody thinks kind of deal. I don't know. I mean, Andrade can easily get a payday in Mexico if he wants to go back to Mexico, if he wants to stay in the U.S. I'd love to see him reunite with Zelina or Thea. That'd be amazing. She was like the ultimate voice piece. And to me, when she left, I'm like, I don't think Andrade has much left here. She was like the voice, that voice piece he always needed, because she's a great talker, and she also, her kind of shenanigans in the ring are very unique to that, where she'll come in and just hurricane run you into the floor.
Yeah.
So
she's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
She was a great wrestler before she went to WWE, and they just decided, nah, you don't need to wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
They gave her the Leo Rush treatment.
Ugh, right?
Or maybe he grabs her, goes to AAA, they make a Ingobernables faction and make CML mad, and then go to Impact or AEW. They go everywhere.
Yeah, it's because I don't know if CML actually owns the Ingobernables like trademark, but I mean Ring of Honor's been using it. They don't care. They just call him, it's la facción ingobernable, so it's not the exact words, but loophole.
I don't know. To me, there's even a possibility there's a small possibility, but there's a possibility of Andrade showing up in Japan. Like, you never know anymore, man. We're at that point where we just don't know, and I love it.
Yeah, you just want to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
wrestling's awesome. But on that note, Trevor, got anything else?
That's everything I had for this week. I have nothing else to add on. Would you like to plug what you guys are doing? Yeah,
definitely. So you can find Tiger Driver Radio on Facebook under Tiger Driver Radio. Also Instagram, Twitter. We're on Tiger Driver Rad1. That's RAD, the number 1. Definitely on all your podcast platforms. We're trying to incorporate more into our show. Recently, we got added to TuneIn, so that's a new thing for us. And hopefully we're going to add more platforms later for people. That way it's easier for them to check us out. Trying to get Amazon. Hopefully we're on there. And also on Pandora. So we're trying to make things happen. And we're trying to make things happen. We're trying to release our new show or bringing back our show next week. So hopefully check us out. Definitely check us out. And that's it.
You are recording for that this weekend, right?
We are definitely recording on. I think we're recording Saturday, so we'll hit you up to see if you could join us.
I'm going to be on the road Saturday on the way home, so I'll let you know.
Okay.
I wife's booked for a show on Friday night, so this should be
cool.
Good. But everybody, please like, share, subscribe. Definitely check out Tiger Driver Radio. They do a lot to help us, so help them out as much as you can. And meet us again here next week for New Japan Strong recaps and Tiger Driver Radio. Have a good one, guys.